Greetings and welcome and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas one and all. We're entering the festive period now and all the joys that come along with that. The crackers, the gifts, the goodwill to all mankind, the roast dinners, and inevitably that argument about politics with your Uncle Reg. That inevitably happens every single year. Now, I wanted to do a short video today just to give some advice and go through some of my experiences of political debates with family members. It's never good, it's never fun, but ultimately these things happen. And I've had many a political debate with family members over the years, whether you go back to Brexit or numerous different elections. I try to bite my tongue, I try to be the bigger person, but it's hard. It's hard. And I want to give you a little bit of advice over Christmas. If your reform voting Uncle Reg pipes up and starts giving it the large about immigration, what to do in that scenario. Now, number one, if you can be the bigger person and say, look, Reg, it's Christmas, let's leave politics out the door, shall we? If you can be the bigger person, that is ultimately the best thing that you can do. But it's difficult. It is difficult. When someone is just spouting absolute nonsense, it's very hard to be the bigger person. But if you can do that, do it. Because this is the frustrating thing about politics, you know, because reform voters, they're our neighbours, they're our family members, they're our postmen, they're all people in our life that when any other subject comes to the table, if you're at the schoolyard and you're having a conversation about football or something, you get on well. But when politics is brought up, it's so divisive. And it's not going to end for a good Christmas, is it, if you start having a political debate? Now, ultimately, the second part of this video is if you just can't bite your tongue, or that Uncle Reg will just not shut up and is going on and on and on, and you have to say something, my advice would be, don't talk about immigration. Because your Uncle Reg, he's already got it all filled. He's got his lines ready to go on immigration. He's got a fueled argument ready to go. And he's just begging. He's begging for someone to take the bait so he can just offload all his immigration argument on you. So my best advice to you, don't talk about immigration. And I think this is advice with any reform voter, really. Don't talk about immigration. Talk about economics. Okay, your Uncle Reg might happen to be some sort of major Thatcherite on Reagan economics and love talking about that as well, but the majority of them won't. They just have their immigration taglines that they want to get out. And if you turn the tables and start talking about economics of Nigel Farage, the economics of reform, it throws them off guard and it shuts them up pretty quickly. This is from experience. This is what I do with family. I have plenty of reform voting family members. As soon as I turn the conversation to economics, it throws them off guard. I basically just say, look, say what you want about Farage, but I'm just absolutely petrified of a Nigel Farage government for his economics. I'm petrified that he's going to sell the NHS off to private companies. I'm petrified that he's basically going to turn this country into America with survival of the fittest style economics, where your workplace, your holiday pay is stripped. Businesses will just pay you whatever the hell they want. If you don't like it, you can go get lost. Basically just a world where people like Elon Musk control the policy of this country. And that absolutely petrifies me. And I guarantee 9 times out of 10, they won't have an answer for that. You'll catch them off guard. And hopefully you can move on, shove EastEnders on the TV and carry on with your Christmas dinner, because you've got your point across and you can then move on. And this is just advice in general, really. I think this should be the argument from the left when we're talking about reform and talking about Nigel Farage. We should always go for economics first, because there is so many reform voters that actually agree with more socialist style economics. I mean, there was a poll a few months back saying that a lot of reform voters were more sympathetic with Jeremy Corbyn than Keir Starmer. You know, a lot of these guys have roots in 60s, 70s style socialist policies. And at the end of the day, we all want the same things, man. We all want the same things. We want affordable housing. We want better education for our kids. We want better healthcare for our pensioners. We want working public services. We all want the same things, man. And this goes back to what I said about your reform voters. They're your postmen. You know, they're your friends. They're that guy at the school gate that you get chatting to about football. They're not aliens from another planet, man. They've just gone through life and looked at everything slightly different and taken different information on board and come to a different worldview. And if we can get these guys on board with how dramatically terrible economically a Nigel Farage government would be, maybe you might just put that seed of doubt. But if you get bogged down into an argument about immigration, your Christmas will be terrible. Anyway, folks, short little video for you today. I hope this has been useful. If you've got any points that you want to put across down in the comments, do so. If you've got any little tidbits that you want to give out for people that are dealing with political arguments during Christmas, please put them down. Also, if you've got any experiences yourself of political arguments, I've got several. And yeah, they never end well. Till next time, take care.